One of the biggest problems I come across with people who have just, stopped drinking alcohol, they've just gotten sober, is that they're putting unnecessary pressure on themselves by thinking about forever not drinking, thinking about never drinking again. And I think it's just such a useless thing to think about, because you can't do anything with forever. You can't do anything about next week, or you can't do anything about tomorrow, because it's not here yet. The only thing that you can deal with is right now in this moment. Yes, the general idea of this is to never drink alcohol again, but let's get real. The less pressure that you can be putting on yourself in the beginning, the better. Right? The less pressure you can put on yourself in the beginning, the better it is for you, the more likely you are to succeed in this. The first 30 days are always going to be the most challenging, right? And once you get past that, then the second 30 days, yes, they're going to be challenging, but not as challenging as that first 30. So there's really no point in thinking beyond that level, right? 30-day chunks is an ideal way of progressing into the first 6 months at least. And then you can see how you feel after that and see what your time frames are. Your life in general is only lived in the moment. You can't live tomorrow, you can't live next week, you can only live now. When we're thinking about habit change, your change comes about in 5 stages. You're talking about being aware of needing to change, then thinking about it, then making the decision to change, then taking action, and then you get the reward. But that's in all habits, building habits or getting rid of habits. You go through that 5-stage process of changing. But all of those stages, being curious about what the new life would look like, actually thinking about it, that decision-making process, taking action, and that reward, that all happens in the moment. You cannot think outside of the moment. You cannot make a decision outside of the moment. You cannot act outside of the moment. So, keeping alcohol out of your mouth next week, you can't do that until next week becomes today, if you get what I mean. So don't worry about it. Worry about today and getting from today until tomorrow. I remember Jim Carrey talking about this, and he said that one of the things that drove him to make changes in his life, getting rid of alcohol and other drugs, was it was desperation. It was desperation that drove him to make those changes. And I think sometimes it's the reverse as well. People get desperate about the idea of never drinking again, because you have to build a life without alcohol. If you want to build a new person, a new you, a person who doesn't drink, that non-drinker part of you, then that takes time. It takes time for you to build those mindsets and to change the habits away from what you used to. So I think that desperation comes when people don't give that enough time. And when I'm talking about enough time, I'm talking about months. Generally with the people that I coach, it takes anywhere between 6 months and 12 months before they can really say to themselves that I am never going to drink alcohol again. And where they can honestly say that to themselves. So you really have to build those alcohol-free days. Then you build the alcohol-free weeks, and then it goes into months and years. And once you get into that months and years, then it becomes easier and easier and easier. You have to build up the not thinking about alcohol in longer and longer stages, right? And it needs to be done naturally, not by force. And again, like I said, eventually between 6 months and a year, that's where people can honestly say to themselves, I'm never going to drink again. But again, it has to be natural. You cannot force this process. Your focus is much better to be facing on the future, on your future potential, on what you can achieve in life without alcohol, on the rewards for you stopping drinking alcohol in the moment. That's what's going to push you through the discomfort, not focusing backwards on what you're missing out on, but on what you're going to do with your life now that you've stopped drinking. The future is where you're heading, yes, without alcohol, but that's not your focus. Focusing on the alcohol is like getting a divorce, right? Getting remarried to somebody else, but focusing your thinking back on that first spouse. That's not going to work out too well in the long run, right? You know, part of the process is figuring out why you were drinking in the first place, figuring out why you wanted to escape from your life in the first place, and then putting in alternatives to that, better alternatives in most cases, and then working your way forwards from that into, like I said, your potential, because everyone's got a potential there. You know, it's just up to you whether or not you want to, how much you want to push that potential. So I hope you like this video. It's just something different that I thought I'd do today. It's beautiful scenery around here, and sometimes I don't get to show that off when I'm driving. So let me know in the comments below if you like these type of videos, and I'll do these more often. Now, most of the stuff that you're going to face, most of the so-called alcohol demons that you're going to face in this journey are in your mind. Do what you can to get rid of, to kill those alcohol demons. Watch this video next. Take care, onwards and upwards. Bye now.